excellence or nothing must become a drive. Yes, excellence or nothing must become a drive. And you see, it was never about what you drive, but what drives you. Yes, it was never about what you drive, but it's about what drives you. Great evening, everyone. Thank you so very much for joining us again on another exciting Upgrade Live with Mr. Upgrade. Yes, I am Mr. Upgrade, and I'm super excited to have you join us here again today on another exciting conversation that we're going to be having today on the Upgrade Live with Mr. Upgrade. Now, on the Upgrade Live with Mr. Upgrade, we do this every Sundays from 7 p.m. through to 8 p.m. and we basically get to do four things. Yes. Number one, we get to take your questions. So if you have any questions whatsoever, feel free to ask your questions and we'll gladly take them, right? Because we understand that questions are more important than answers. And there are no right or wrong questions, they are just questions. So we look forward to receiving your questions and providing solutions to those questions, right? So we can't wait to get your questions. So send them in because that's one of the reasons why we are here. The second reason why we're here is because I want to share with you the upgrade mastery tip for the week. And for this week, the upgrade mastery tip is drive, right? I really can't wait for us to get into the conversation on drive because this is something that everyone really needs to have. You need to have that drive about your life, about the things that you do. You need drive. So our upgrade mastery tip for this week is drive, right? And then the third thing we get to do is that we get to connect, network, and bond because we understand and realize how important it is connecting, networking, and bonding is in our generation today. So we encourage that because we know people watch this from all across the world. So it's important that we get to connect, network, and bond with one another. And fourthly, finally, the fourth thing that we get to do here is that we get to have fun. Yes, I am a very big believer that learning ought to be fun. I always say this all the time that if learning is not fun, there is no learning at all. So we get to have fun while we learn, while we do all that we do, we get to have fun. Because if there is no fun, then there is no learning at all. I strongly believe that whatever you learn with full pleasure, you remember in full measure, right? So these are the four things that we do every time we get to meet here on Sundays, 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. on the Upgrade Live with Mr. Upgrade, and you are in for a swell ride again today. So I appreciate you for coming. Thank you so very much. I do not take your time for granted. Thank you for being here. I acknowledge your presence and I am grateful that you're here. And I'm also humbled by it that you spend your 1 hour with me. Am I not just blessed? I am blessed to have you join me here again today. So, on the Upgrade Live, before we get into the full gist, we begin with our basic 5 questions. Now, these 5 questions help us to set the tone for the conversation. It helps you to settle in what we're going to talk about today. And so, we are going to begin with our basic 5 questions. So, are you ready? Let me know in the comment that you're ready. Let me know in the comment. Give me your vibe. Give me your vibe. Give me your ginger. Give me your ginger. Let me know that you're ready. Let me know that you have drive for this conversation. So are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? Okay. So question number one. What is drive? When you hear the word drive, what does that mean? What does that connote for you? What does that represent? What exactly is drive? I'll tell you what drive is, right? You see, drive, it is the push from within that gets you started and keeps you going until result is achieved. That is drive. Yes, drive is the push from within that gets you started, that keeps you going until result is achieved. Which means when it comes to drive, Results is the end goal. Result is what you want to achieve. Are you getting this? So drive is that inner push, that push from within that gets you started. So you know, I have to do this. I have to make this happen. It gets you started from within and it keeps you going. So when you hit setbacks, you hit brick walls, because you have drive, you keep going. You push through it because you have drive until the result is achieved. This, my friends, is drive. And the question now is, do you have drive? Are you a person of drive? Or you do just give in or quit? You must have drive. It's important that you have drive. Very important, very critical. Like I told you in our opening quote, is that it's not about what you drive, it's about what drives you. Right? So you must have drive. Question number 2. Who's responsible for drive? Who's responsible for you to have drive? Who's responsible for drive? The answer is simple. You are. Yes, I'll say that again. You are responsible for drive. No one else is responsible for drive but you. You, my friends, are responsible for drive. The drive that you have, the drive that you lack, is entirely up to you. So it is your best interest that you find a way for you to have drive, because you must have drive. Regardless, you must have drive because you are responsible for drive, because it's from within. So you must take responsibility for that drive. Question number 3. Why drive? Why do we have to talk about drive? Why is drive any important or have any significance? Why drive? I'll tell you 3 reasons why drive, and I hope that these 3 reasons resonate with you. Number 1, force. You know, they say that every body continues in a state of rest or uniform motion until it is acted upon by an external force, right? Drive is a force, but this time that drive is within, is internal. So the drive is not an external force, it is an internal force. It's something that is coming from within. It's something that you know that you have to do. It's something that you know that this has to be something I get involved with. It's from within. That's drive. It's a force. It's something that pushes you. It's something that pulls you. It's from within. So the first reason why drive is that it's a force. It's a force. The second reason why drive is momentum. There's the momentum. So remember I told you that drive gets you started and it keeps you going until result is achieved, right? So drive is that momentum that helps you to continue. Even when you hit setback, you hit brick walls, you meet difficulties, you meet challenges, drive helps you to continue. It helps you to sustain the momentum. So the force from within pushes you to begin. That same force drive becomes the momentum that sustains it till you achieve the result. Because you see, when you kick off, there's so much energy, there's so much vibe, there's so much passion, there's so much fire in you when you begin. But as you begin to make progress, some of those things starts to wane down. But that's where drive comes in, because drive now helps to sustain that momentum. Are you getting this? So second reason why drive is momentum. It sustains the momentum. The third reason why drive is a result mentality. The whole essence of drive is that there's the results that you want to achieve. And because of that, there's a certain mentality you have. So drive gives you a result mentality that if this doesn't achieve results, we keep going till we get results. So it's either yes or yes. Are you getting this? It's either yes or yes. You keep going because you have a result mentality. You don't see failure, you only see results. You don't see failure, you only see result. Why? That's drive. It gives the result mentality. So 3 reasons why drive: force, momentum, result mentality. Now the question now is question number 4. What are the benefits of drive? What are the benefits of drive? Now, understand what drive is. I know who's responsible for drive. I know why drive. Now, what are the benefits? What do I stand to gain? What are the benefits of drive? What do I stand to gain? I'll tell you that there are 3 benefits of drive that you must always remember and put to practice in your journey. 3 benefits of drive. Number 1, there is grit. Grit, 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 right? This is a sustaining ability that you have, right? With grit, you don't quit. With grit, you keep pushing boundaries. With grit, you keep going on. One of the benefits of having drive is that it gives you grit. The second benefit of having drive is stickability. You stick with something till there is result from that thing. Stickability. A lot of people cannot stick with things. They start today, they quit tomorrow. They start today, they quit tomorrow. But the one who has drive has stickability. You stick through with things. You don't quit till you have a result. There is stickability. There's stickability with drive. So drive helps you stick to a process. The third benefit of drive is success. See, whether you like this or not, when you have drive, you always achieve success. Like a default product of drive is success. Because there's this thing that you just cannot stop until you achieve it. And what you are looking to achieve is success. So drive gives success. Drive gives success. And you see, that's why I'm always inspired to come here to talk with you. Because I know that the conversations we have here helps to fuel your drive. I'm going to tell you more about what fuels drive and what kills drive. Our conversation here on our Upgrade Live with Mr. Upgrade, it helps to fuel your drive. It helps to keep you going, which will help you attain success. So the 3 benefits of drive is grit, stickability, and success. Anyone who has drive, you will always see these things played out for them. Question number 5. When is the best time to have drive? Now we know what drive is. We know who's responsible. We know the why. We know the benefits. When now is the best time to have drive? And you know, for this, I always tell people the last best time for anything was yesterday. The next best time for anything is now. Now is the next best time for you to have drive. Now is the next best time for you to have drive. See, I don't care the situation you are faced with. I don't care where you live. I don't care where you're from. But you see, something that can help you redefine your life and rewrite your story is if you start to have drive now. Because when you do have drive, a lot of things changes in your life when you have drive. And that's why I tell people to do things with great ebullience and drive. Great ebullience and drive, because I know what comes out from that, from things done that way with great ebullience and drive. Now, we've set the foundation. Let's get into the gist itself, which is drive. Let's talk about drive. D-R-I-V-E, drive. You know, we already defined drive as it is the push from within that gets you started, keeps you going until results is achieved. That is drive. The push from within that gets you started, that keeps you going until result is achieved. That is drive. Now, let's break it down. D-R-I-V-E, drive. Let's break it down. You see, the D in drive is decision. See, let me tell you this, and I'll be brutally honest with you. Drive begins with a decision. A decision. You have to first decide that I'm going to have drive. Right? It begins with a decision. I've always told us here that decision is the ultimate power. Nothing changes until you make a decision for change. Right? Drive starts with a decision. So I have decided I'm going to be excellent or nothing. That decision begins the push from within to give it your all. So drive begins with a decision. So you see, people who lack drive, for whatsoever reason they lack drive, you can trace it back to their indecision. And you know, the sad part in life is that indecision is still a decision. That's why we encourage people, and you must make the decision, because your life is changed based on your decision for change. And drive begins with a decision. I have decided that it's excellence or nothing. That's where it starts from. So drive begins with a decision. You know, it's a push from within that gets you started, that keeps you going until result is achieved. So that push begins with a decision. It's time to go. It's time to be better. It's time to upgrade. It begins with a decision. A decision. The D in drive is decision. Right? Now, the R in drive is responsibility. Whether you accept it or not, drive is your responsibility. Right? That push is your responsibility. You can't blame anybody for your lack of drive. It's your responsibility. It's your responsibility to see that you get things started, you get going on the things, and you achieve results through the things. That's your responsibility. So drive is responsibility. So nobody will come and encourage you, tap your shoulder, pat you on the back, and say, okay, you can do this. You know, see. Whether you have cheerleaders or no cheerleaders, drive is your responsibility. You know, there are people who get to do things because they are being cheered, they are being celebrated, they are being encouraged, so they get to do things. See, when you have drive, the responsibility falls on you to encourage yourself. Like David in 1 Samuel 30, verse 6, scripture says, and David encouraged himself in the Lord. Drive is your responsibility. So you must take responsibility. You must not wait for somebody to come and encourage you. You must not wait for somebody to come and acknowledge you. You must not wait for somebody to come and commend you. You must take responsibility and make the push to start, to continue, and have results. It's your responsibility. Stop waiting for people to come and cheer you on and say, oh, we celebrate you, we see you are doing well. No, you wait for eternity. You wait until you lose weight. But go on. Take the responsibility for the drive. Take the responsibility to put yourself out there. Take the responsibility to get good at your skills. That's your drive. That's your responsibility. No one is coming to save you. You are your own rescue. The I in drive is inspire. You see, your drive should inspire you, and when it is seen by others, it should inspire them. Do you get that? Your drive should inspire you. And when others see how inspired you are, they too will be inspired. That's drive. When they see how you work, when they see your excellence, when they see how you make things happen, that will inspire them. So your drive inspires you, and others are inspired by your drive. See these guys, see these guys. Drive inspires. See the way some people do their things, and you're like, wow, this is amazing. This is amazing. The drive with which they work have inspired others. So your drive inspires others to have drive. That's why I said that it's not about what you drive, it's about what drives you, what fuels you, what keeps you going, what makes you make the impossible possible. That inspires others. One of the things I get many times from people is the feedback that, wow, I'm inspired by what you do. And I'm like, that's supposed to happen. You're supposed to be inspired by what I do because I do it with drive. I do it with drive. You know that this guy is different. This guy is different. I do it with drive. Because I realize and I understand that the I in drive is inspired. People can look at how you work and like, I'm inspired by this. I want to work like this. I want to give my all like this. I want to become a person of excellence like this. That's inspire. It comes from drive. So the I in drive is inspire. See, the V in drive is value. See, what drives you should be value delivery, to deliver value. And I've said this over and over again, that value is anything that is beneficial, that is of help, and that is a solution. So that is what drives you, to be of benefits to people, to be of help to people, to be a solution to people. That's the drive. That's the drive. So that makes you value. And I often say this as a joke during the time of Valentine. I say, while you're waiting for people to come and value, give yourself some value. Drive is about value. And value is about anything or anyone that is beneficial, that is of help, and that's a solution. That's what value is. That's what value is. Are you getting this? Is this making sense? That's what value is. Drive is about value. It's about value. You're driven to be beneficial, to be of help, to be a solution to people, to places, to things. That's value. That's drive. Because drive is about value. It's not about church or church. It's not about talk. It's about work. It's about results. It's about workings. And that working must be value. Not just anything, but value. And finally, the E in drive is excellence. See, if there's one thing that I want to be remembered by, is excellence. So as I give my all in all that I do, you see that rub off of excellence everywhere. You see that touch of excellence everywhere. Why? Because that's a hallmark in drive, excellence. So I'm not just doing it and doing it in mediocrity or average. I'm doing it with excellence. That's the drive. Like my friend Emmanuel talks about in his podcast, excellence or nothing. Are you getting it? It's excellence or nothing. Why? Because that's the drive. The drive is excellence. Paying attention to details, dotting your I's and crossing your T's. Excellent. No room for mediocrity or average. Excellence or nothing. That's what drive is. It's about excellence. See, we live in a world where people are okay with being okay. And so because of that, a lot of people don't have drive for excellence. They're just okay being okay. They have what is called the commune syndrome. It doesn't mean commune, doesn't mean no. You must strive for excellence because excellence is part of your drive. What drives you to see that things get better and they become the best. Excellence. Anyone can settle for average or mediocrity, but that anyone should not be you because you have drive. And one of the key components of drive is excellence. So you're not just doing things because you are doing them. You're not doing it for doing sake. You are doing it because it must be done with excellence. Ecclesiastes 9:10, the scripture says, whatsoever your hand finds to do, do it well. Do it well. And that talks about do it with excellence. So, drive must be excellent. It must be excellent. So, this is what drive represents: decision, responsibility, inspire, value, excellence. This is drive. Now, the question is, do you have drive? Like what I've shared with you now, do you have drive? Or do you lack drive? If you have drive, congratulations, kudos. If you lack drive, it's time to get it. It's time to discover your drive. Because see, the truth is, in this world that we live in, you must have drive. You must. You must have drive. Because if you don't have drive, people will drive you. That's spontaneous, guys. Well, if you don't have drive, people will drive you. You must have drive. You must have drive, so you will not be driven. Drive or be driven. Like drive or be driven. You decide. You must have drive. Because if you don't have drive, people will drive you. No sentiments. They'll drive you. They'll drive you. See, it is not about what you drive. Let's say a car. I say, okay, I drive a Lamborghini, or I drive a Ferrari, or I drive a Bugatti, or I drive a Bentley, or I drive a whatever car it is. It's not about what you drive. It's about what drives you. What drives you? Because what drives you is more important than what you drive. Even if you drive a Rolls Royce, what drives you? Because what makes a Rolls Royce is the engine of the Rolls Royce. The same way, what makes you you is the drive in you. Is the drive in you. So what drives you? What drives you? See, there are three things about drive that I need you to know. Three things about drive, right? Number one is passion. passion. Number 2 is commitment. And number 3 is positioning. I call it the PCP of drive. The PCP of drive. There's the passion, there's the commitment, there is the positioning. When it comes to drive, you must see these 3 things. Passion is there. The one who has drive has passion. Passion is oozing out of the one who has drive. There's passion. The one who has drive has commitment. It's committed, true and true. Commitment. It starts, continues, it finishes, and arrives at result. Commitment. The one who has drive has position. You will see that this one is different. This one is not like everybody else. This one knows what he or she is doing. This one is different. Right? It's positioned above the rest. It's drive. You see, if you have a group of people, you can easily spot and separate the ones who have drive and the ones who lack drive. That's what drive does. It gives positioning. It gives positioning. You know, there's a saying that it's not about the dog in the fight, it's about the fight in the dog. Positioning, guys. 3 things about drive you must always remember. Number 1, passion. Number 2, commitment. And number 3, positioning. But see this, right? There are 2 traits of drive. For someone who has drive, you always notice these 2 traits. It's always predominant in the person that has drive. The 2 traits. Number 1, no excuses. Number 2, no quitting. The one who has drive does not make excuse. The one who has drive does not quit. You always see these 2 traits in the person that has drive. No excuses, no quitting. You know, people say in local parlance, we die here. See, for someone who has drive, we live here and we thrive here. Why? Because there's the push from within that gets them started. It gets them going, and it gets them till they get results. Are you getting this? So there's no excuse. There's no quitting. We thrive here. We don't die here. We thrive here because of the drive. We thrive here. And you see, the one goal of drive is to push straight. Hey, push straight. When you have drive, you will push straight. You cannot sit back and say, okay, no wahala. No, the one who has drive, you push through it. You push through it. You don't sit back and quit. No, you push through it. That's the drive. You push through it. When you're faced with the wall, is that the wall comes down or you go over the wall, but somehow you push through it. You push through it. You push through it. The one who has drive, the one goal of drive is to push through it. Push through, push through, push through, push through it. See, there's something striking that Jesus said in John chapter 9, verse 4. He said, I must walk the work of him that sent me while it is day. For night comes when no man can walk. Now, I know people always try to teach this part of scripture from the sense of urgency, right? But look at it from the sense of drive. I must walk the walk of him that sent me while it is day. For night comes when no man can walk. So this is what drives me to do the Father's will. This is what drives me to do all that is written of me in the book, in the volume of books. The drive. The drive. Walk the work of the ascending while it is day, for night comes when no one can walk. So I have the drive to do it early. I have the drive for urgency. Because there's no time to check time. There's no time to waste. There's no time to procrastinate. There's no time. There's no time. Are you getting this? There's no time. Because you have drive. It must be done and done now. Drive. For night comes when no man can work. Night comes when no man can work. See, I need to ask you, what drives your life? What really drives your life? You know, in the book Purpose Driven Life by Rick Warren, he mentions some things that drives people's life. I think that actually is chapter 3 of the book. Yeah, chapter 3, what drives your life? Right? The Purpose Driven Life by Rick Warren. In chapter 3 of the book, he asks the question, what drives your life? Right? So I'm asking you this question now that I'm teaching you on drive. What drives your life? And from my observation and from my conversation with a lot of people, I have discovered 4 things that drive people's life. You know, in the book Purpose Driven Life by Rick Warren, he says so many things that drive people, that people are driven by materialism, people are driven by wealth, people are driven, yeah, he mentions some things. But you see, I've been able to look through people holistically, and I've seen that a lot of people are driven by 4 things. 4 things. People are driven by 4 things. Number 1, people are driven by fear. Fear. And you see, fear is a terrible driver. Fear is a terrible driver. People are driven by fear. Their fear for lack will make them do anything to have. People are driven by fear. Right? People are driven by fear. Fear is what is making them do what they do. Fear. What if I don't have again tomorrow? What if I'm in debt? What if, all of these fears is what drives some people. Fear. And then there are those who are driven by guilt. Oh, what they've done wrong in the past. Hey, people are driven by guilt. That's another thing that drives people. Guilt. And like fear, guilt is also a reckless driver. It will drive you down to your death. Guilt. Don't let guilt drive your life. No. Another thing I have discovered too that drives people is shame. People are driven by shame. Driven by shame. They are ashamed of themselves, ashamed of what they have done, ashamed of what they are becoming. They are ashamed. They are driven by shame. You see, people are driven by fear, by guilt, by shame. But you see, what should drive your life should be purpose. Purpose should be what drives your life, not fear, not guilt, not shame. Purpose should be what drives your life. You know, they say that when the purpose of a thing is unknown, abuse is inevitable. Purpose should be what drives your life. Purpose. You must let purpose drive you. Purpose should be what drives your life. Not fear, not guilt, not shame, but purpose. Purpose should drive your life. Purpose. Purpose of who you are. Purpose of your identity. Purpose. That should be what drives your life. You should be driven on purpose. That's why it's called purpose-driven life. Did you ever get that? Purpose-driven life. So what should drive your life is purpose, not fear, not guilt, not shame, purpose. See this, guys. You must fill your life with so much drive that there's no room for insecurity. See, the reason why you feel insecure about yourself is because you have not filled yourself up with so much drive. If you fill yourself with so much drive, you will not be insecure. You will not. Because you are living a purpose-driven life. A life that is driven on purpose. So you will not be insecure by anyone. Purpose drives you. So you cannot feel insecure because you are in your purpose. You are in your purpose, so you cannot feel insecure. You are in your purpose. So purpose drives you. You can't feel insecure. Why? When you are in your purpose. And our purposes are different. It's like Joshua trying to feel insecure about Moses. Their purposes are different. One was to bring the children out of Egypt. The other was to take them into the promised land. Their purposes are different. So the same way, when you understand what drives you and that you're driven by purpose, you cannot be feeling insecure because your purpose drives you and your purpose is unique to you. So why are you insecure? So fill your life with so much drive. Fill your life with so much drive. You will never feel insecure. When you fill your life with so much drive, there will be no room for insecurity. No room in the inn for insecurity. And you see, three things that sustains your drive. Three things sustains your drive. Number one, excellence. Number two, improvement. And number three, fulfillment. These three things, they sustain your drive. Excellence, improvement, and fulfillment. It helps you to keep starting, continuing, and getting results. It sustains your drive. First, you're a person of excellence. Next, you always see room for improvement. And finally, there's fulfillment in what you do. It sustains your drive. These three things, they sustain your drive. Anywhere you find yourself in the world, these three things will sustain your drive. Excellence, improvement, and fulfillment. And see these guys, no one is born driven. No one is born with drive. We discover, develop, and deploy drive. There's no follow come drive. No one is passionate from birth. We discover, we develop, and we deploy drive. It's like me. Anywhere I work with excellence. And I raise the level of people that work with me to that of excellence. I wasn't born that way. I discovered, I develop, and I deploy it everywhere I go. And you see, you must have the great ebullience and drive. I always say this, you must have great ebullience and drive. You must have great ebullience and drive. Yeah, you must. You must have great ebullience and drive. Nothing can change that when you have it. Nothing. You must have great ebullience and drive. See, Paul in scripture. Apostle Paul is an example that you can have drive for what is wrong and you can have drive for what is right. Yes, you can have drive for what is wrong and you can have drive for what is right. Remember when he was still Saul, he had drive to persecute Christians. In fact, he was there as a chief witness for the martyr of Stephen because he held the clothes of the people who stoned Stephen to death. He was there. He had so much drive to persecute Christians. He was going from temple to temple and synagogues, dragging Christians out of synagogues and putting them in chains. He had so much drive to persecute Christians. And then he went and got letters to go to Damascus to go and persecute Christians. And on his way on that journey to Damascus, in Acts chapter 9, he encountered the light. See this, guys. You can have drive for the wrong thing. So drive is not, oh, I have drive only for the right thing. It's not true. It is not true. You can have drive for the wrong thing. People have drive for vices. They have drive for alcohol. They have drive for sex. They have drive for drugs. They have drive for gambling. They have drive for the wrong things. So you can have drive for the wrong things. But it's important that you have drive for the right things. Because the same Saul, with the encounter of light in Acts chapter 9, he became Paul. And now he had the same drive to preach the gospel. To the point that people say the same one who persecutes us is now preaching the same thing as us. He had drive to preach the gospel. Even when he was told that, oh, you are going to be arrested and put to chains, Paul said, none of these things move me in Acts chapter 19. He said, I'm not only willing to be put in chains for the gospel, I'm also willing to die for the sake of the gospel. The same drive he now has to preach the gospel, same drive he had used to persecute the gospel. He's using the same drive to preach the gospel. What do I mean by all of this? It means that you can have drive for the right thing and you can also have drive for the wrong thing. Drive is immoral. It depends on you, what you use it for. So there's not a good drive or a bad drive. It's the person who can have, who can put drive to good use or put drive to bad use. Are you getting this? See, drive brings ice. I-C-E. Drive brings ice. And by that, I mean, drive brings interesting. It brings challenging. It brings experiencing. That's the ice. With drive, things are interesting. With drive, things are challenging. With drive, things are experiencing. It brings ice, interesting, challenging, experiencing. It comes with drive. So what you are doing is interesting. What you're doing is challenging. What you're doing is experiencing. It comes with drive. See, there are things that can fuel your drive, and there are things that can kill your drive. I'll say that again. There are things that can fuel your drive, and there are things that can kill your drive. Now, let me tell you some of the things that can fuel your drive, the drive fuelers, the things that can fuel your drive. Acknowledgement. When you're being acknowledged, it has a way it fuels you to do more. Like, okay, they recognize what you're doing. You are being acknowledged. It fuels your drive. You see how you feel when you are being acknowledged for what you're doing. It fuels your drive. Another thing that fuels your drive is commendation. Commendation. When you're told, well done. Commendation, it fuels your drives. It makes you want to do more because you know you are being commended. Another thing that fuel your drive is reward. Reward and celebration. It fuels your drive. When you know that you are rewarded, you are celebrated, it fuels your drive. You see, acknowledgement, commendation, reward, and celebration fuels your drive. It gives you springs in your steps. It gives you wings to want to fly. It fuels your drive. But then there are also things that kill drive. They are drive killers. Things that kill drive. The drive killers. Number one, blame. And people always tend to blame you. It kills your drive. Even for the little you're trying to do, it kills your drive. Blame. Number two, shame. When you're being shamed because of what you're doing, it kills your drive. Like, come on, after all I've done, and you're being shamed, it kills your drive. Number three, name. When they give you a name as a result of what you're doing, it kills your drive. So you see, blame, shame, and name, it kills drive. They are drive killers. So you need to watch out for that in your life so you are not killing someone else's drive because of your blame, your shame, and your name. Because these things kill drive. As much as they are drive foilers, you should be more conscious of drive killers. Be more conscious of drive killers. And see, drive can make you become unstoppable. It can make you become undefeatable. And it can make you become unfuckwittable when you have drive. No one can stop you when you have drive. Because I told you earlier, if you come against a wall, it's either you go over the wall or the wall crumbles down so you go through it. Because of drive, you are unstoppable. And then you are undefeatable. You don't stay down. You don't quit. You are undefeatable. And then you are unfuckwittable. You are at peace and in touch with yourself. That nothing anyone says or does moves you. And no negativity or drama can touch you. You are unfuckwittable when you have drive. So you see, drive can make you unstoppable, undefeatable, and unfuckwittable. And see, drive is a trait that you can build and a skill that you can learn. I'll say that again. Drive is a trait that you can build and a skill that you can learn. Did you get that? It is a trait that you can build and a skill that you can learn. Drive. Drive. See, your drive can help to inspire others. I know a lot of people who have been inspired just by seeing me work. Just by seeing me do what I do, they are inspired because of my drive. Your drive can inspire others. Your drive can teach and mentor others. Your drive. And your drive creates experiences for others. You see, I think one of the things I'm going to teach again is experiences, creating experiences. Because you see, one of the greatest way you become unforgotten, or one of the greatest way to become never forgotten, is how you create experiences. And you see, in all honesty and humility, I have discovered how to create experiences. I have, and I'm not even kidding. I have discovered how to create experiences, and I can teach it. I can teach it. So see, drive can help you inspire others. It can help you teach and mentor others. It can also help you create experiences for others. See, drive demands that you don't settle for mediocrity or average. Excellence or nothing. It is excellence or nothing. So you don't settle for mediocrity or average. No, you have drive. It is excellence or nothing. And the truth is this, in all honesty, you either have drive or you lack drive. There's no two ways about it. So I'd like to ask you, do you have drive or do you lack drive? There's no two ways about it. You either have drive or you lack drive. You see, for me, I have drive. For you, do you have drive? Do you have drive? Or do you lack drive? See, guys, I'll tell you this. Drive communicates because it is seen and felt. Drive communicates. Do you get that? Drive communicates because it is seen and it is felt. So you can see drive and you can feel drive. Are you getting this? You can see drive. You can see that this person has drive. You can also feel it. This person has drive. You can feel it. Because drive communicates. Drive speaks. It communicates. I tell us all the time, anybody talks, everybody talks, but not everybody communicates. Drive communicates because it is seen, it is felt. Drive communicates. See, drive that is seen is passion. A drive that is felt is expression. I'll say that again. Drive that is seen is passion. Drive that is felt is expression. You see, there are common ways to notice drive. Common ways. Drive guided is ambition. When you can guide the drive, it's ambition. You want to achieve a certain goal, you can guide it. That's ambition. Drive lost is depression. When you lose drive, it's depression. Drive misguided is frustration. Frustration. Because it's misguided, it's frustration. Drive unchecked is aggression. And these are common ways to notice drive. Ambition, depression, frustration, aggression. And see, if you lack drive, you can seek it. Remember, I said you either have drive or you lack drive. But if you lack drive, if you are honest with yourself that you lack drive, you can seek it. And that's why I encourage you to send a DM. Send a DM, right? Send a message, send a mail, send a message, leave a comment. You can seek drive. You can seek it. See, you can find drive in three things. And this is where we begin to wrap this up for today. You can find drive in three things. Remember, we told you if you lack drive, you can seek it, right? Let me tell you three ways you can find drive. Number one, in the word. It just says, the word is a light to my feet and a lamp to my path. You can find drive in the word. In the word. You can find drive in the word, in God's word. You can find drive there. Number two, you can find drive in people. Scripture tells us that he that walks with the wise become wise, but a companion of fools will be destroyed. So you can find drive in people. The circle that you put yourself in, the association, the environment you put yourself in, you can find drive in people. And the third way you can find drive is in system. A system. You can find drive in system because there, in a system, There's a culture. And because of that culture, that becomes a way of life. So you can find drive in system. So 3 ways you can find drive. You can find drive in the word. You can find drive in people. You can find drive in system. And see this, guys. Nothing energizes your life like drive. Nothing energizes your life like drive. Guys, I hope that this helps you. And I hope that if you lack drive before now, this is an opportunity for you to seek drive. Because scripture tells us, he that seeks will find. And I know you will find drive if you truly seek it. And I can help you find it. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm Mr. Upgrade. I can help you find it. Because you truly need to have drive for your life. I hope this makes sense. I hope this has been worth your while. Like we always say, 3 things will happen for you in this new week, right? Number 1, increased voice of God. Number 2, open heavens over your life. And number 3, more angelic activities in all that you do. Remember, guys, there's always more on the upgrade side of life. That's why I encourage you that you will leave good behind so that you can upgrade. And what better way for you to upgrade is to have drive. Thank you so much for watching. God bless you. And do well to share this with your friends, your family, your loved ones, and even your enemies. Sharing is caring. And do well to share. Thank you again. God bless you.